Hello, and welcome to this presentation on DIBELS Daze. So what is DIBELS? DIBELS stands for Dynamic Indicators of Basic Early Literacy Skills, and it's a way to monitor the development of some early literacy skills in students from ages kindergarten all the way up to grade 6. DIBELS it can be used for benchmark and progress monitoring to assess these basic early literacy skills. So there are 6 subtests within the DIBELS family. They include word use fluency, first sound fluency, phoneme segmentation fluency, nonsense word fluency, oral reading fluency, and Daze, which is what we're going to be focusing on in this presentation. So DIBELS Daze is part of the DIBELS Next, which is the newest edition of the DIBELS assessment, which was released in 2010. Daze is new to this particular DIBELS family, and it is a maze-style comprehension task that focuses on reading comprehension and reading fluency, specifically reading comprehension and mostly on how students construct meaning from text and how they make sense of text. It's intended for students from grades 3 to 6, and it is the only DIBELS subtest which is group administered, and it is timed. So students have 3 minutes to complete this task. This is an example of a DIBELS sheet. So as you can see, students are given a passage and they have 3 minutes to read through the passage, and after 7 words or so, there is a blank, and this is in the maze style. The blank has 3 different options for words. After students finish reading the sentence, they have to pick what word they think best fits in the blank. They circle the correct word and continue reading. So one of the options is correct and the other 2 is incorrect. Within the blank, this is what it looks like with the correct answer chosen. So in terms of scoring, students are given an adjusted score, which is equal to the number of correct responses, subtract the number of incorrect responses, divided by 2, and this helps to account for some guessing that may happen. And if we look at this chart, this helps us to make sense of what this score means. So the blue scores, the scores in blue, are considered to be above a benchmark. So students are doing really well if they achieve a score in blue. The black scores mean that students are achieving at benchmark, which means they are at grade level, which means they're on track. If students receive a score that is in red, that means that they are below benchmark and probably need some tier 2, tier 3 support. As you can see, the scores are shown from 3rd grade up to 6th grade, and they show what students should be at for beginning, middle, and end of each of those grades. Next, we're going to look at research. So because the DIBELS Daze is fairly new, it was published in 2010-2011. It hasn't been out for too many years and hasn't really had time to make its way fully into the school system yet. So there hasn't been too much research on the reliability and validity of the DIBELS Daze. However, the preliminary research has been quite promising. So first we're going to look at reliability. And reliability has been found to be quite high across multiple different measures of reliability. So inter-rater reliability especially is very high. The correlation is 0.99 for a lot of studies. It also shows high alternate forms reliability and high test-retest reliability. So if we look at this little chart over here, it shows the alternate form reliability for 6th graders. And if we look at the Daze adjusted score, the correlation for the alternate forms is 0.98. So quite high. Validity, the Daze has been found to be correlated with other measures of reading comprehension, like GRADE, which is the Group Reading Assessment and Diagnostic Evaluation, which is another measure that measures reading comprehension, and the scores on the Daze and the GRADE have found to be correlated. However, there are some concerns that have been raised by researchers, namely that the Daze doesn't fully measure comprehension and might actually be measuring something else, such as reading fluency more so. So if students aren't quick readers, their scores might be lower because they can't read fast enough, since this is a timed assessment. The other issue that has been raised for maze-style tasks in general is that students aren't being assessed on passage comprehension and rather sentence comprehension, so students are comprehending on a sentence-by-sentence level instead of a passage level as a whole. However, there are pros, of course, to this measure. So one of the biggest pros is that it is quick. It only takes 3 minutes, and since it is group administered, you're going to do an entire class at once. So an entire class of 30 students in 3 minutes is awesome. The other really great thing is that studies have found that among teachers and other administrators, it has a high usability rating. So teachers and administrators have found that it's quite usable in the classroom and easy to use. It also fits with previous understanding of students. So when teachers were asked, they said that they found that the scores on the DIBELS Daze were consistent with what they believed their students were achieving in the classroom. There are some cons which I did talk about. So it is fairly new. It doesn't have a huge research backing, which does present some concerns for teachers and other administrators. There also is the issue of comprehension or fluency. So the DIBELS Daze might not be focusing solely on comprehension and might actually be looking a little bit at fluency, which is a bit of an issue. However, the so what of this, I believe that overall the DIBELS Daze looks quite promising. I think it's awesome that students in grade 3 to 6 have another measure which is looking at their reading comprehension. Although it's not perfect, it does show that there perhaps may be a need for more comprehension style assessments, and how can we look solely at reading comprehension without it being confounded by other variables such as reading fluency.